The new Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, as you heard, won by 66% of the votes of the Conservative Party. He takes over from Theresa May. We've got plenty of other news around, including our own Parliament, not nearly as exciting. I mean, Boris did not disappoint with a very colourful and succinct opening speech. Let's get to our panel quickly tonight and we'll talk about that and, as I said, all the other news of the day. Let me introduce our Tuesday night regulars. Independent Senator from the South Australia, the great state of South Australia, Rita Panahi joining us from Canberra. Hi, Corey. Are you excited about Bojo's win?
Oh, I am. It was entirely predictable, I think. But I think it's going to be a roller coaster ride, and he's got a big job ahead of him, quite frankly, with managing Brexit and then defeating Jeremy Corbyn.
Yep, well, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. And also tonight, joining me here in Sydney from the Australian newspaper, columnist Troy Bramston, who has this very day written about a column about comparing with Margaret Thatcher. We'll talk to you about that in a minute.
Indeed. G'day, Janine. Good to be here.
Amazing. And, of course, also on a Tuesday night from Melbourne, Sky presenter of The Outsiders, Rita Panahi. Hello, Rita.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
That was a good speech.
It was.
Short
it was
speech
short,
is a good speech.
Fun. Yes, you'll see the highlights of it. I'm not sure. He didn't disappoint when you get to dude. I don't think, many Prime Ministers open with dude. But look, let's get to the serious business of this. Apart from the fact he's so colourful, so larger than life, Australia obviously is very interested in what's going to happen in the UK. I should say, I don't want to rain on this wonderful moment, but this might be the high point of his day because already the resignations have started. Chancellor of the Exchequer said at the weekend he wouldn't serve under him, so we're just waiting on his resignation. But I think we're up to about 3 ministers have already resigned. More will follow, so it's going to be a very big night in British politics. So, Corey, just getting back to it, obviously you're a fan of Boris Johnson, but he has challenges ahead. He's agreed to do a no-deal Brexit if needed. Just tell us what you think we're going to see with the Boris Johnson Prime Ministership.
I can't say I'm a fan because I don't really know him. I do think he's colourful and he'll be interesting for politics. But I think he's going to have his internal challenges, quite frankly, because there's a lot of Tory members and members of Parliament who aren't that happy with him. They think it'll be a disaster. So I think he's got a very short window of opportunity to manage Brexit, to take the party along with him, and then I think he'll have to go to an election very shortly thereafter. And some are speculating even maybe before, because he could lose control of the party and the House of Commons in the meantime.
Yes, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of dissent. Troy, as your column says today, tell us a bit about it. He's no Margaret Thatcher.
No, well, it just shows you how far the Conservative Party has declined in recent years. You know, he's the third UK Prime Minister in 3 years.
We shouldn't say that like...
well, I know. That's actually something that they can boast about. So, look, you're right. Look, I mean, it comes to office in the most challenging of circumstances you can imagine. I mean, Corey mentioned some of them. You know, you've mentioned the resignations, the challenge to deliver Brexit. Possibly there could be a snap election. The government doesn't have a majority of seats in the House of Commons. That could be further under threat as well. So, look, he's got a really difficult job ahead of him. I've always been quite open about Boris Johnson. I've interviewed him before and found him quite an interesting and compelling political figure, but he has a lot of defects. He has a lot of flaws. He's ill-disciplined. He's a bit sometimes too colourful, a little bit clownish. And I was just going to say, in my column today, I interviewed Bernard Ingham, who was Margaret Thatcher's long-time press secretary, and he said she would be stunned and appalled about what has happened to her party in recent years. And he's not a huge fan of Boris Johnson, but he did say to me, look, his number one task is to deliver Brexit, and he will do that.
Interesting the word you describe him. He's obviously colourful and entertaining.
He is.
He plays up his intellect, but a lot of people have doubts underneath all that.
Well,
bluster.
he's a smart guy.
How did he come across to you personally?
Well, he's very personable, very charming. When I interviewed him on the phone a few years ago, he's not stupid, as a lot of people think that he is, but he's ill-disciplined and he's reckless sometimes in his language and not as focused and as sharp as he should be. But he's not not a fool. He's a very smart guy, but the challenge is to be prime ministerial, to be more like, I guess, Margaret Thatcher, who no doubt is from the Conservative perspective the greatest prime minister they've had since Churchill. But she was very disciplined, very focused, very clear about what she believed in and who she represented and what she wanted to achieve. And you can't just say the same about Boris. But, you know, we've got to give him time. He may surprise us all.
He may. Rita, no doubt you're a big fan.
Well, no, I'm not a big fan.
No, you're not. There you go. I thought I just
No.
assumed there were fans here.
No, I think he's got potential, but he is a little bit flaky for my liking. And he has got a short window of opportunity now to show us what he's made of. And if he doesn't deliver Brexit, if he doesn't deliver the Brexit the people voted for, not the one that's palatable to the Remainers, then he's going to be in terrible peril because they're going to bleed more votes, the Tories, to Nigel Farage and the Brexit Party. So he has got a monumental task, but you hope he believes in Brexit. He campaigned for it, unlike Theresa May. So hopefully he's in a stronger position to actually negotiate an outcome that delivers what the people voted for.
Just to what Rita's saying, Corey, and we'll move on to our politics in a minute, but I thought one of the interesting points was the co-chair of the 1922 committee, before he announced the results, saying, can I just ask as a humble backbencher that we're kinder to this next Prime Minister than we were to the previous one? Any chance of that as they're sitting there with their resignations lined up?
I doubt that. And what I saw was the slow hand clap of Boris, the big wide clap versus the polite, courteous one. It was an unusual comment, and I also thought that Boris's tribute and acknowledgement of Theresa May rang a bit hollow, to be frank. But that's politics for you, isn't it? You say good things about those who are going.
Yes, well, you'll see the quote everywhere, but he pointed out that their message during this campaign was deliver on Brexit, unite the party, defeat Jeremy Corbyn. He did joke, in inimitable Boris style, that actually spells dud. But we forgot E for energy. Dude, he said, dude. So I think I can see the headlines on Fleet Street tomorrow. Dude, his work's cut out.